Hi Siri, turn off any room light. We need to do next step.
I won't say a word, just let you breathe. I won't make a sound, I won't slow you down. I knew we were on borrowed time, just a passing streak, nothing new. I fell in too deep, and as far as at least how I remember, we were leaving in September, when getting gold paved the sky. And as far as though maybe I pretended, we should never end. I held on with all my might, still waiting on that last goodbye. See you standing by the door, watching the leaves as they fall once more. In the silence we made, I couldn't find the words to say. They linger in my mind.
Moi với lại là được cái chỗ lắm. Push. Pull. La. Okay, just like that.
Oh, I wish you'd stay. And as far as at least how I remember.
是，我说现在，我在地铁上。
This one is correct.
但是我们的灯有点不太位置。
颜色呢？颜色啥？在这儿有吧？多长？
一般就在桌上不会插上。
我可以把它给剪掉。
This is roughly here.
Yeah.
剪掉，你看这个盆儿实在是太小。有一点点高。
跟长得骚丝儿点。
啊。哦，有进去吗？有吗？哎，哎，有土出来吗？
应该会好拿到一点。
现在这个也换了一个家，它。这个给贵的现在感觉还是这么快就完了。I think it's enough, Peter. I think it's enough. Hey. 嗯。
看。
I want this one. 这是大家的家，都住在里头来，这是动物场。
去哪儿了？